The Intruder, also known as the creepy hooded guy, this black and white image depicts a man with unkempt facial hair, a thin mustache and beard, large eyes, and wearing a black hoodie, believed to be a computer-generated image of a police sketch of a suspect based on a witness description of what could have been an actual home intruder. While today this image is most known as The Intruder from the Mandela Catalog, a YouTube analog horror series by Alex Kister, this image was rather popular beforehand as well, as it rapidly spread across the internet as a sort of a meme. One of the earliest iterations of this image's appearance was on the 11th of June of 2010 on a 4chan post reading, "Here's the bomb I'm about to drop." This image here, I cannot stare at it for more than a few moments. It haunts my brain. Even now, just choosing the file from a bunch of thumbnails, I can't see this at 100% zoom. I know why, but it's wrong. This image is wrong. What it portrays I don't know. It scares me on a primal level I cannot explain. Way deep down, a part of my animal self tells me that it wants to hurt me or is about to attack me. I just can't explain it. Official source is that it's just a really horrible police crime suspect recreation drawing from witness description, but it's still terrifying to me for a reason I can't explain. I hope you feel the same horror I do. Good luck. I'm out of this thread now. The image in itself will become pretty popular on 4chan, as its users will begin spamming it over various threads in an attempt to creep other people out and force it into a meme, which will eventually succeed, as the image was essentially spammed on the poll board by someone from Albania, earning the man in the picture the nickname of the creepy Albanian man, while the image in itself will also apparently go viral in Russian forums as a creepypasta. While I wasn't able to find any records or proof of this image being an actual police sketch of a suspect, I think the following might be its earliest appearance on the internet and perhaps its point of origin. A YouTube channel called Simmaster will post a video on the 17th of December 2007 titled Life. In the comments of that video, we can actually find a comment by the channel Lessons in Meme Culture asking Simmaster whether he was the one who created the Intruder as a character, with Simmaster replying that yes, as it was a character in many of their early works, which they refer to as the Ant-Man. While the Intruder was an entirely fictional character, some of the following are not, and are in fact real criminals who have committed real crimes. So if you're sensitive to this kind of stuff, I'm including a trigger warning from this point forward. Do watch at your own discretion. Mr. Cruel. The image and name is referring to an unidentified Australian criminal in the late 1980s and early 1990s, and its nickname couldn't be more fitting, as he was the major suspect in a series of crimes involving 4 home intrusions, 2 kidnappings, a murder, and multiple essays. The moniker of Mr. Cruel was given to him by the Sun newspaper in one of its articles at the time. The perpetrator was never apprehended, as the Australian police described Mr. Cruel as a highly intelligent individual who meticulously planned each attack, making sure to leave no forensic traces or clues that could lead to the discovery of his identity, as he will conduct detailed research into the family, household, and schedules of his victims, while making sure to leave plenty of red herrings in order to further cover his tracks. The image in itself represents the balaclava that he wore during one of the attacks in order to keep his identity safe. To this day, he is still wanted by the police, with a reward of $1 million Australian dollars offered to anyone capable of providing information that will lead to Mr. Cruel's arrest and conviction. But given that this man has managed to evade the police since the 1987s, the chances of this case ever being solved are rather slim and more unlikely by the day. The Baton Rouge serial killer. Short, dark hair, thin eyebrows, large lips, and most noticeably a blank, unnerving, eerie stare. This police sketch became a meme over the internet as well, being posted in various forums as a creepy image, while also being featured as an alternate in the Mandela Catalog. The sketch belonged to the Baton Rouge serial killer. The man from the sketch, whose real name was Derek Todd Lee, was convicted of first-degree murder, assault, burglary, and stalking, among other things. While the newspapers at the time suggested that Lee could be responsible for other unsolved murders in the area at the time, after his arrest, the police will discover that in fact there was a second serial killer operating in the Baton Rouge area during the same time, namely Sean Vincent Gillis. Derek Todd will spend 12 years at the Louisiana State Penitentiary after being apprehended in 2003 before dying of a heart disease at a hospital in 2016 at the age of 47. Celine Delgado Lopez. This picture originates from a Mexican urban legend. Celine Delgado Lopez is the name of an allegedly missing person from Mexico. Her first appearance was reported on a TV broadcast named Servicio a la Comunidad, translating to community service, on a Mexican TV channel by the name Canal 5, Channel 5. The community service was essentially a short TV fragment which focused on showcasing pictures and information regarding missing persons, and as you can imagine, a fragment like this would inevitably end up being at the very least discomforting to view. The Celine Delgado case evolved essentially into an urban legend, with some people even doubting that she had existed to begin with, as unlike other missing people, information about her or reports from a family member who would have announced her disappearance to begin with were practically non-existent. There were in fact some broadcasts that allegedly would even showcase the sketch of the Baton Rouge killer instead of her face, but whether those broadcasts were actual, real, or fabricated is up to debate.
Selene Delgado López se ignora su paradero desde el 28 de mayo del año 2000. Selene Delgado López, de 18 años, se extravió el 22 de abril en la delegación Álvaro Obregón.
Theories regarding Celine Delgado range from the entire thing being real and her being just one drop in the vast ocean of people who go missing constantly, disappearing without trace, to the inclusion of the Rouge Killer sketch being actually something done on purpose by Channel 5 in order to creep out their viewers and raise public awareness regarding the issue of disappearances, with some even believing that Celine Delgado simply never existed to begin with, and that the inclusion of the Rouge Killer sketch could have been due to a prankster submitting that as an image to Channel 5. The Lake Bottom Killer. On the 4th of June 1960, 4 Finnish teenagers were camping on the shore of Lake Bottom, Finland. During the night that will follow, between 4 am and 6 am, someone will proceed to attack the 4 teenagers using both a sharp and a blunt object to kill 3 of them, and leaving 1 heavily injured. The survivor would report that the attacker was an unknown person clothed in black, with bright red eyes. Later on, the surviving teen will produce a drawing of the one who he claimed attacked them. Following that, while I can't provide a verified source for this part, so take it with a grain of salt, additional sketches of the suspect would emerge along with a photograph of an unknown individual taken at one of the victim's funerals, which was never seen again afterwards and no one could actually identify. While multiple suspects emerged in this case, including the surviving teen in the attack, the police was never able to find enough evidence to convict anyone, thus cementing this as an unsolved case. Cheryl Bowman. Well, this sketch, or in fact facial reconstruction, and yes, I do see the irony here, doesn't seem too bad compared to the rest. The hand covering the face seems definitely counterintuitive in the context of this being a sketch whose main purpose is to, identify someone. In this case, it's the context behind it that renders it truly terrifying, and the fact that this is not the drawing of a suspect, rather of a victim. In 1989, in Houston, Texas, a woman's remains will be discovered in a remote location by a group of people. While the cause of her death was unknown at the time, the police department believed that she was killed in a separate location and that her body was secretly dumped in the area where she was found. The police was unable to identify who the woman was, given that she was not carrying any sort of ID on her, so they had to resort to create a sketch that they could distribute in order to find more information in regard to her identity. But this is the part of the story that puts the sketch into context. Apparently, the woman's face was so disfigured to the point where the forensic artist was simply unable to accurately reconstruct it, choosing instead to draw a hand over her face to display her jewelry, which could further help with identification. The body was later on identified as belonging to a woman called Cheryl Bowman, who had been reported as missing. The original Night Stalker. While perhaps goofy looking at first, this police sketch actually has a dark story behind it. Not that the other ones had a bright one, but this one is particularly bad. This was one of the many sketches used in the investigation against Joseph James D'Angelo, also known as the original Night Stalker, the Golden State Killer, the Visalia Ransacker, and the Diamond Knot Killer, among other nicknames. And if you know anything about this case, you'll agree that all of those titles are definitely not an exaggeration. The crimes committed by D'Angelo were numerous, and when I say numerous, I mean numerous. At least 120 burglaries, 50 essays, and 13 murders. D'Angelo was as bad as they come. His crime spree essentially lasted a long time, from the 1974 up until the 1986, when he went dormant, quote unquote, eventually ending up getting arrested in 2018, when the California authorities charged the 72-year-old D'Angelo at the time with 8 counts of first-degree murder based on DNA evidence. D'Angelo is currently alive and in prison, facing 13 life sentences after being spared the death penalty as part of a plea bargain. The Bug-Eyed Peeper. A gaunt man with high cheekbones and wearing a hoodie, which honestly looks kinda similar to the ants from the movie Ants. But probably the most noticeable feature must be the eyes. Large, round, and yellow. This sketch made the news around 2016 as an identified man which the Fox News referred to as the Bug-Eyed Peeper, and he was apparently wanted by the police after being reported on multiple counts for apparently peeping into apartments through the windows in Citrus Heights, California. The sketch was based on the description given by the woman who claimed to have seen this man peering through their windows, but the suspect was never apprehended, and thus his identity never confirmed. So whether this guy actually had yellow bug eyes or not remains kind of a mystery, maybe? As always, I'd like to thank this channel's members for their support and you the viewer for sticking until the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and at the same time do let me know if you'd like to see a part 2 to this video. There is in fact tons more similar sketches circulating around, and the stories behind them are pretty wild, with some ranging from a really dark story, as you've seen in this video, to others being just straight up humorous, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel. My current goal will be to reach 20,000 subscribers by the end of the year. As always, I'll see you in my next video and I wish you a good night. Bye bye.